The 2027 Kia Telluride Hybrid is here, and the math behind it is more interesting than you'd expect. Kia has been on a remarkable run over the past several years, and nowhere has that been more visible than with the Telluride. When it launched, it did something that Korean manufacturers had been trying to do for years. It made American family buyers genuinely want the vehicle, rather than simply settle for it as a practical, sensible choice. It won awards, it sold out, dealers marked it up, people waited for it. For a three-row family SUV from a brand that spent decades fighting the perception of being a budget alternative, that kind of reception was significant, and Kia has been careful not to squander it. Every update to the Telluride since launch has been measured and deliberate, enhancing what works rather than chasing trends that might not suit the vehicle's character. The 2027 Telluride Hybrid is the most significant development the nameplate has seen in a while, and it's now officially in production at Kia's West Point, Georgia plant, a detail worth noting because domestic production matters to a meaningful segment of the buyers this vehicle is aimed at. The Hybrid opens at $46,490 before a $1,545 destination charge, which immediately raises the question that everyone who looks at a hybrid variant of an existing model asks, is the premium worth it? The answer here is more nuanced and more interesting than a simple yes or no, and it's worth working through properly rather than just accepting the headline price difference at face value. The base hybrid sits $7,300 above the standard gasoline entry point, which sounds like a lot until you start breaking down what you're actually getting for that money. The more relevant comparison is against the equivalent EX trim with a conventional powertrain, where the gap narrows to $2,700. That's a more digestible number, and it's the figure that most buyers cross-shopping within the Telluride range will actually be looking at. Against the Hyundai Palisade Hybrid, the closest family member in the Hyundai-Kia group, the Telluride Hybrid costs $2,330 more, which tells you something about where Kia has positioned this relative to its stablemate. The financial case for choosing the hybrid rests on fuel savings, and those savings are real and calculable rather than theoretical. At current average U.S. fuel prices of around $3.18 per gallon and a typical annual driving distance of 14,000 miles, the Telluride Hybrid's 35 mpg combined rating saves approximately 138.5 gallons per year compared to the 26 mpg gasoline EX. That translates to roughly $440 in annual fuel cost reduction. Work out the break-even point on the $2,700 price premium over the equivalent gasoline EX, and you arrive at just over 6 years, not immediate but not unreasonable for a vehicle that most buyers will keep for the better part of a decade. And that calculation doesn't account for the hybrid's stronger performance output or any future movement in fuel prices, both of which could shift the numbers meaningfully in the hybrid's favor over a longer ownership period. Under the hood, the mechanical foundation is consistent across every trim in the hybrid range. A turbocharged 2.5-liter four-cylinder engine works alongside a 1.65 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, electric motors, and a 6-speed automatic transmission to produce a combined 329 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque. Those figures are stronger than the standard gasoline Telluride, which means buyers choosing the hybrid aren't trading performance for efficiency, they're getting more of both simultaneously. In the segment of large three-row SUVs, finding that combination at this price point is genuinely unusual, and it's one of the more compelling parts of the Telluride Hybrid's overall proposition. The entry-level EX trim is where most buyers will start the conversation, and it arrives with a specification that's hard to fault at its price point. LED lighting, acoustic front glass, 18-inch alloys, roof rails, a sunroof, and light metal exterior accents handle the exterior presentation. Inside, a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster pairs with a matching 12.3-inch infotainment display, heated and ventilated front seats in Syntex upholstery, second-row captain's chairs, tri-zone climate control, dual wireless smartphone charging, and a 115-volt cargo area power outlet. The safety package is comprehensive enough to read like a checklist from a much more expensive vehicle. Highway Driving Assist 1.5, Smart Cruise Control with Stop and Go, Blind Spot Collision Warning, forward collision avoidance with pedestrian and cyclist detection, lane keeping assist, lane following assist, parking distance warning, rear cross traffic collision avoidance, safe exit assist, and a rear view monitor with dynamic parking guidance all come standard. That's not a curated highlight reel, that's the full list, fitted to the base trim, which says something meaningful about where buyer expectations sit in this segment right now, and how seriously Kia has taken the task of meeting them. Step up to the SX at $51,490, and the character of the vehicle shifts noticeably toward the premium end of the mainstream spectrum. LED fog lights, 20-inch wheels, satin chrome detailing, and a dual sunroof give the exterior a more polished presence. Inside, the upgrade that most buyers will notice immediately is the audio. A 14-speaker Meridian premium system with subwoofer replaces the 8-speaker setup, and the difference in everyday listening is substantial. A 74-color ambient lighting system, stainless steel pedals and scuff plates, HomeLink integration, and a 10-way power driver's seat with memory function round out an interior package that comfortably justifies the step up from the EX. The driver assistance suite expands to include blind spot view monitor, surround view monitor, parking collision avoidance in reverse, highway driving assist 2.0, and enhanced forward collision detection. Upgrades that make a genuine difference in daily urban driving, rather than existing purely for specification sheet purposes. The X-Line SX at $54,490 is available exclusively with all-wheel drive and introduces a more adventure-oriented visual identity without compromising the refinement that defines the broader Telluride character. Bridge-style roof rails, 21-inch wheels, gloss and matte black exterior accents, and a heated steering wheel create an appearance that suits buyers who want their family SUV to look like it has somewhere interesting to be. It's more visual differentiation than genuine off-road capability upgrade, but in a class where aesthetics drive a significant portion of purchase decisions, the X-Line SX makes a compelling case for itself. The upper tier of the range is where the Telluride Hybrid makes its strongest bid for the premium family SUV buyer. The SX Prestige at $56,590 takes a deliberately understated approach to its exterior. Satin chrome trim, low-profile roof rails, and 20-inch wheels communicate quality without shouting about it. The interior is where the meaningful upgrades live. Syntex suede seating surfaces with a matching suede headliner, engineered wood trim, a digital rearview mirror, digital key technology, a heads-up display, rain-sensing wipers, acoustic second-row side glass for genuinely impressive cabin isolation, and heated and ventilated second-row seats. That last item, rear seat ventilation, sounds like a luxury detail until you've spent a summer afternoon in a hot vehicle with children in the back, at which point it becomes one of the most appreciated features on the options list. The X-Line SX Prestige at $57,590 combines everything in the Prestige package with the rugged styling cues of the X-Line: 21-inch wheels, bridge-style roof rails, and the gloss and matte black exterior detailing for buyers who want the full luxury specification wrapped in the more aggressive visual package. What holds the entire Telluride Hybrid range together is the consistency of the thing. Every trim gets the same powertrain, the same 35 miles per gallon combined rating, the same 329 horsepower, and the same fundamental character that made the Telluride a segment standout in the first place. The hybrid system hasn't been bolted on as an afterthought or offered as a niche alternative for efficiency-obsessed buyers. It's been positioned as the direction the Telluride is heading, a powertrain upgrade that makes the vehicle better in the ways that matter to the people who actually buy and live with large three-row family SUVs over the long term. More responsive around town, more efficient on the highway, cheaper to run over years of ownership, stronger on paper and in practice than the version it supplements. In a segment that's getting more competitive and more sophisticated with every model cycle, the 2027 Telluride Hybrid arrives with enough genuine substance to defend the position the original earned. That's not a small thing, and Kia deserves credit for treating it with the seriousness it required.